This is Barbara DeLong, and I painted and channeled the Cosmic Deck of Initiation, which has recently been re-released, along with a handbook that gives detailed instructions on how to use the deck, and most recently, the digital app for those of you who want to use it on your cell phones. Because this is not your ordinary tarot or oracle deck, I thought it important to give you a hint as to the kind of information and material you can get from the deck. While it can, of course, be used for prognostication, its original intent was for those who are on a personal spiritual journey and seeking insight and wisdom that has been carried within for eons of your spirit's journey. The deck enables individuals to become their own master teacher, learning from that which has personally been gathered over time and not following another's teaching or pathway. The spirit's journey is unique unto each individual, so information will always be unique, and the interpretation and application as well will differ. The deck is very personal, and the more you use it, the greater it will serve you. I'm sharing the meaning of one of the cards to give you a hint as to the kind of information they will share with you. For further information, you can go to cosmicdeckofinitiation.com, and the link will follow the meaning of the card. You have drawn Universal Compassion. Compassion, from the Latin, meaning to suffer together. Letting go of the self, selflessness, and empathy for all that surrounds you. Universal understanding and acceptance on a non-judgmental level. This quality opens and expands all other qualities and aspects of living. You are drawn into the realms of the unseen and higher levels of perception. Acceptance with love of individual destinies. Universal compassion is an empathetic quality that enables you to feel the pain and suffering of those around you, and while you cannot take it away from them, you can share their energies and listen to their stories and, in a way, for a time, share their dramas. By listening with a compassionate heart, often they will find solace and gain strength to conquer the challenges they face. Being totally there for another is not as easy as it seems. It means your journey and experiences never come into play. Not as easy as that one sounds. The greatest gift you can give another is your time and unconditional attention to their words. With universal compassion, you put the self aside and focus on another's journey, listening only and not offering suggestions, for they would come from your own personal experience and journey and would not apply to anyone else, of course, other than you. When working with a pyramid spread, the following insights can be applied to the Universal Compassion card. If your card falls in the circle for body and health, it means that being gentle with yourself, as lessons are gathered and wisdoms absorbed, is important. Being aware of the avatar in which the spirit travels and the need to take care of that vehicle is an aspect of life that is often ignored. Ambition often drives one to the detriment of the physical, and the proper fuel and rest are ignored. When this happens, the body begins to break down and is not able to serve you as was intended. When the body is compromised, so too is the ability of the spirit to function within reality. As with all aspects of the terrestrial experience, the main and most important focus of the lifetime is the self, the spirit that indwells within you. The sole purpose of the physical experience is to gain experience and wisdom to fuel the evolution of the spirit within. All lessons flow in that direction. The purpose of experience of human incarnation is to experience on a personal level. Compassion is one of those qualities that play an important part in all the experiences that are served up to challenge us. Compassion towards the self as we process lessons and challenges, observing difficulties and the stress that they occasionally put us through. observing the challenges and being compassionate towards the self as it struggles to complete tasks given us. Compassion is observing the pain in the self and in others, and then is paired with empathy, which generates the desire to fix or repair things. The importance of being compassionate with the self first is crucial, for you cannot relate to another unless you have first experienced that which they are going through. Compassion, directed firstly at the self, then overflows towards others, and so serves both, for the recognition of the sincerity of the flow must first come through you to be shared with another. If your card falls in the circle for the future, it indicates that humanity as a whole is going through great changes on all levels, some of which are very challenging because they deal with aspects that are of an emotional level, and at this time the majority are focused on the intellectual levels. The reasoning aspects are being stretched, and the ability to apply to a situation do not leave room for the emotions and compassionate empathy as once they did. Humanity is flowing through a cycle of evolution that it has been through before and will be again, where the focus leans more in one direction than another. This too shall pass, covers this time frame, though many will feel it difficult to understand where compassion and empathy went. It is a cycle. We will emerge from it, given time. But the process is slow, and it is up to each and every one of us to find that quality within, protect it, and manifest it where and when it is most appropriate. Within the individual, it is important that you be kind to yourselves. Understand that humanity as a whole is going through some growing pains that may well take hundreds, if not thousands of years to get through. So there will be times of stress and confusion that we all will go through. Reserve quiet time for yourselves, and, as silly as it sounds, take some time to smell the roses and just watch the clouds drift by. The world around us is changing and going through growing pains, and we can watch and not get caught up in most of it if we are kind to ourselves and create a sort of peaceful bubble around ourselves. If we are peaceful within, compassionate to ourselves, then the overflow from us will touch our environment and spread to others. One person at a time, starting with ourselves, and then watching it spread slowly to our environment, and then to the world, and then beyond. Patience will at times be difficult to find, yet it is always there if we but pause and let it come out of the darkness and the shadows. Try not to get caught up in confusion or anger. Be compassionate within and spread it slowly. Compassion and empathy come from that spark of the infinite spirit within. As we become those energies, as we manifest them, as we live our lives, we spread that energy because we are that energy. Others will follow because they have experienced the flow and have been embraced by it within themselves. You teach by example. No words are necessary. Love is the universal language. If your card falls in the circle for career and finances, it indicates that there are new energies that are beginning to flow through the physical fields that are shifting the focus of the entire life path. As new directions begin to open up to you, look carefully as to the direction that your life focus is taking you in. Pay attention to the purpose of the workplace and the impact it is having not only on the environment but also on those who are working there. It is becoming very important that your physical environment be as clear as you can manage it, and that your work in some way makes life better, even in a very small way, for your fellow travelers upon this planet. We are in no way suggesting you become a fanatic, but rather take care of your own personal space and the body wherein you dwell. If everyone does this, this planet will benefit. Many will contemplate a shift or change in employment over the next few years, and if a new direction calls to you, absolutely investigate it to see if it better fits your new inner directions as well. Creative, intuitive directions will open to you, and there will be some interesting discoveries about yourself that will lead you to new areas of spiritual enlightenment. Massive changes to the inner philosophies need not necessarily change the outward direction of your life. Using the energies of compassion and empathy within your life opens the portals to greater spiritual understanding, to the purpose and direction of your life. Kindness and random acts of kindness resonate with the unconditional love within the spirit that is a part of this lifetime. By sharing those energies with those you touch, you share that energy within you with others and help to awaken it in them. To put it very simply, compassion and empathy, when genuinely, unconditionally given, are very contagious. You literally spread the joy by being joyful. If your card falls in the circle of the mind, it indicates that the shifts and changes that humanity is going through at this time can be confusing for the intellect to understand, for they do not seem to resonate to logic and reason. Though there is much wisdom within, it is difficult to apply it to much of which is unfolding within reality at this time. The compassion and empathy that are within can be applied to many different and sometimes conflicting aspects of the reality, so there are times when the best action is no action at all. Trying to apply logic and reason to chaos is a difficult task, and even then there is no clear answer. For these times of change and reorder, it is wiser to apply compassion and empathy to local rather than global areas, for it is difficult to anticipate what others intend to do. The current world situations are causing upset in the energetic flow around us, and trying to apply wisdom and intellect to any of the global situations is very difficult, for it appears that past life global difficulties are beginning to emerge once more and may need to play out for a balance to be reestablished. Keeping your energies closer to home enables you to clear some space where compassion and empathy will have impact, and you will make a difference. By starting small and allowing the energies to grow and spread, a difference can and will be made. It will just take much longer than anyone can imagine. Generations ago, before electricity was captured and the only time it appeared in our reality was in the form of lightning in the night sky, early settlers would always have a single candle in the window to provide a guiding light for those seeking their way home in the darkness of night. Perhaps it's time once again to keep a light in the window, a reminder that there is always a light in the darkness of chaos and confusion that rests within the spirit of all of us. And it is amazing how brightly the glow can become when all those candles shine as one, fueled by love, compassion, and empathy. It will take time, but the light always casts out the shadows, and so long as there is one single spark, there is always hope. If your card falls in the circle of love, it indicates that in times of change and growth, when there is confusion and disharmony, the element of love is most profound within reality. It does not stop the growing pains, but it is available to help soothe out some of the discomfort. Growth is inevitable, and with it there is always the element of confusion. Humanity as a whole is entering into one of those times, and because of that, a greater number of older souls are flooding the planet that are usually present in a generation. It's not going to stop the process, but it will ease the confusion to a point. The love for humanity that is carried within each spirit present upon the planet floods the environment and is reflected by those with the awareness of that energy. Many present on the planet at this time are not aware of that element within the environment, and so are not able to draw from it or reflect it. This time frame is not one of the easiest to travel, but for those here, did choose it for their own individual reasons, as well as those carrying light body energy as well. So far as interpersonal relationships, as they touch the element of love, this is a time when sensitivity is greatly called for. Each energy is going to react differently to the shifts and changes, and understanding and compassion will be required by all who are involved in relationships. The times are not going to be easy, but those who continue to work on themselves, those who have been compassionate with themselves, and those who are able to be open and communicate with each other will find their relationships stronger than ever. Relationships are always a challenge. Finding and maintaining a balance is tricky, to say the very least. Making sure that each maintain their own personal dreams and aspirations while being supportive but not controlling of the others is indeed a balancing act, but one that is very rewarding when accomplished, as well as remembering that it is an ongoing challenge that shifts and changes over time. Communication is one of the important keys to success here. If your card falls in the circle for spirit, it indicates that the spirit within is full of compassion and empathy, for it is fueled by unconditional love. In applying those energies to the physical reality, it has to work through the ego, the personality, and the environment in which it dwells. As a result, there is not a clear channel from spirit to the physical reality. Many of the challenges for this lifetime involve the clearing of those channels and making it easier for the spirit to touch and impact that reality. On many levels, compassion is felt, and the consciousness is aware of it. However, the ego can find countless reasons for not acting on the feelings that are trying to manifest. Compassion is feeling another's difficulties, while empathy is striving to fix them. The two categories usually work as a team when there are clear channels open to them. Compassion is a spiritual quality that is freely given and often is felt like a warm hug when it is compassionate and genuine. Compassionate is the sharing of an emotional hurt and listening with total attention. The ego is more of an intellectual aspect and doesn't understand compassion, for the ego is a most selfish quality within us and does not feel at all. The ego is focused on the self and in some ways wants to control the physical reality. We all do need an ego, it just has to be kept in balance with the spirit, so that both aspects can manifest for the benefit of the spirit within. When there is a balance between compassion and ego, then empathy is able to blend into the manifestation aspects of the whole persona. In this way, compassion feels, the empathy wants to solve the issues, and the ego tries to figure out how to do it. As with most aspects of universal nature, compassion first has to be focused on the spirit within and the body in which it travels. Problems and difficulties are lessons that need to be learned, and often we need to understand that there is always a positive lesson hidden within the whole process. Go easy on yourself, for occasionally repeating a lesson over several times or avoiding situations that are again learning experiences are very human actions. And we are, at least for now, very human, though we carry within us a spirit who is at all times taking notes.